Okay, folks, this is a little extra um, explainer for assessment task one for online students that covers some of the discussion we had in the face-to-face tutorials. So I just wanted to record this to make sure that you didn't miss out on that discussion and Q&A time about the first assessment task. So um, first off, I'm just going to talk through some of the things we discussed by question. So question one, summarising recent debate around EIA. What I'm keen to see here and what might be a useful approach is to pick one project or issue that has been in the media. It might be a particular mine, it might be a particular development that, there has been some discussion or debate around, and focus on that project. And there might be a couple of different articles that talk about the issues that have been raised, but the key point here is what does this debate demonstrate about EIA in particular? So what issues have arisen around that project that are revealing in terms of environmental impact assessment? So it could be something like complying with regulation. It could be something about the transparency of the policy process. But the key point here is to link whatever the issue that has arisen back to EIA in some form or another. Now, for question two, relatively straightforward, and we've touched on a few of those limitations in the week 3 lecture content about EIA. So really just identifying what you think some of the key limitations are, drawing on course readings, but also keen to see, for really high quality responses, that you've also drawn on some literature from outside. And there is a requirement to have at least 6 peer-reviewed articles or sources for this task, and so question 2 is definitely a chance to draw on some of those. Question 3. Now, question 3 can be in dot point format, so the questions that you come up with can be dot pointed, but I'm keen here to enable you the opportunity to raise questions about things that you're unsure of, or that you would like more information on, or some of whatever lecture content around EIA that raises further questions about the process or environmental management. This is a chance for you to raise those questions. I deliberately put this point in the assessment task because there are lots of uncertainties around EIA language and process and differences between different jurisdictions. So this is a chance for you to identify what some of those things might be, and certain things that you might like more info on. And then I can respond to some of those questions in our week 6 lecture. And that might either be in that lecture itself or an additional online recording where I respond to some of your questions. So they're the basics of responding to the questions. Now, I have asked for 4 questions, which is listed in the assessment criteria. I'm keen probably for you to stick to 4, and I'm really after quality rather than quantity. So they can be a little bit more detailed. I'm keen to see you cite where relevant. So what have you read that has prompted a particular question that you've come up with? So you would cite the source with that question. And so it's really the quality and the insight that's demonstrated in the questions you pose that will get you good marks for this particular task. Now, in terms of format of the assessment task, it's question-based, so I'm more than happy for you to respond to the first 2 questions with a short paragraph, directly responding to those questions, and then, as I said, for question 3, dot points for each of the questions you identify will be fine. You only have 800 words, and that's a deliberately small amount. Purpose being that I'm keen to um, to get you practicing being concise and clear and writing your response to these types of questions in a sort of more report-based format. So it's a much more concise, constrained response type. So just a quick look at the criteria for this task. Always worth looking at the assessment criteria just to get a sense of where you need to put the more detail in, because that's where more of the marks are allocated. So here, obviously, demonstrating the quality of your insights is going to get you 10 marks. Now, I've mentioned strengths and weaknesses in the assessment criteria, but I'm only really interested in the weaknesses. I thought talking about strengths might be a little bit too much, so don't worry about the strengths bit, just focus on the weaknesses. The 4 questions, again, demonstrating the quality of your insights and reflections on EIA uncertainty and application, and good citation technique, so using the Harvard referencing style, and the style guides for those are available on the library website or the Study and Learning Centre, so definitely check those out if you're unsure. And just to reiterate, 6 peer-reviewed references across the whole response. You're obviously also going to have some media articles that you are referencing as well, particularly for the first question. 800 words, if it's a little bit over or under, that's fine. But as I said, the point is to be as clear and succinct as possible. All right, feel free to get in touch via email if there's anything further you would like clarification on. And I'll send around a little prompt email about our Google Hangouts time, or a possible time that might suit you if you have further questions as the assessment submission date approaches. And I've also set up the discussion board, so there's no well, actually it was already set up, but I've set up some additional themes, additional discussion themes there. Now, there is no assessment mark for the discussion board, but if you do want to post on there to discuss various course themes as the semester progresses with each other as well as myself, then please feel free to do so. I'll check in a couple of times a week to respond to any discussion or contribute where appropriate. But if you would like to chat about some of this stuff with each other, then that medium is available to you. All right, I'll be in touch soon. Thanks. Bye.